NBC10 News.
Telephone poles and trees down, lights out. Storm Team 10 has been tracking more wild weather just days before the holiday weekend. Headed back to port following some frightening moments at sea. We'll tell you what happened as the Block Island Ferry and the Coast Guard cutter collide. Ferry accident. 1 minute you're sailing along on the Block Island Ferry, then bang. The ferry was en route from Point Judith to the Block when it collided with a Coast Guard cutter about 4 miles off the island's north end. Now we have pictures from a viewer emailed right into the NBC10 inbox. You can see the side of the ferry with the cutter in the background. There it is. Visibility just a couple of hundred yards in fog at the time, we're told. The ferry, one of the older and slower ones, was full of passengers who were told to put on their life vests just in case. The cause of the crash remains under investigation tonight, and NBC 10's Brian Crandall has more on the story we first reported on Turn210.com today. Brian?
Yeah, Gene, we're told by the Coast Guard that no one was hurt. No word yet on why the boats collided, although, as you mentioned, it was foggy at the time. And this is, well, the damaged ferry we're going to show you in video only on 10 as it returned to Block Island. The ferry makes it to Block Island dinged up after a collision with a Coast Guard cutter a few miles offshore.
There was a joke, and then everybody started kind of running for the life jackets.
These photos were sent to us by a passenger shortly after the crash. There were 257 people on the ferry, plus 8 crew. 18 crew members were on the Coast Guard cutter Morro Bay, a 140-foot buoy tender based out of New London, seen here in a Coast Guard photo 4 years ago. The cutter had minimal damage. The ferry, seen here in this video taken by Steve Cloutier, has a dent almost 4 feet long. Neither boat took on water. Passengers described the moments before impact.
He immediately hit reverse. You could tell that it was trying to stop with the horn blasting all the time.
I saw this other ship all of a sudden appear out of the fog. Yeah. And I knew it was really close. I told Kirsten, just grab the rail, we're going to hit. And we did. It was a bump, wasn't too bad.
Melissa Hyde called us while still at sea.
And very, very foggy conditions. And they kept blowing the horn, and then they shut the engines off, and we kind of thought we were there. And then all of a sudden, from the left side, we see a boat crossing over, and then we just collided with them.
The cutter went right in front of us, and then he turned to the left, and then the back end of his boat was right at the bow of our ferry. It was just a real solid jolt, but everybody knew it was coming. Yeah. For the most part, you could see it.
So I was sitting next to a mom that had a new baby and probably a 2-year-old, and she was crying and panicking, and some people went down to get the life vests and such. I'm traveling with my husband and my 3-year-old, so we were a little scared.
And this is the ferry back at the dock in Block Island. And thanks again to Steve Cloutier for those images and those interviews. We're waiting to hear from the ferry company. The Coast Guard will hold a briefing in a couple of hours, and we'll have the latest tonight at 11. I'm Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.